From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hi, it's Charlie Manos, and in this episode, we sit down with Country Music Hall of Famer Jimmy Fortune. Jimmy joined us on Zoom to chat about his old friend Harold Reid. Harold Reid of the Statler Brothers passed away on Friday, April the 24th at the age of 80, and Jimmy has some wonderful memories to share. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Hall of Famer Jimmy Fortune.
Actually, Statler Brothers, Bed of Roses, Coffee, Country, and Cody, and that was Lou DeWitt with his remarkable tenor, memorable tenor, only to be replaced by a guy who was equally as remarkable, but didn't sound like Lou DeWitt either. He created his own way, and that is Jimmy Fortune, Hall of Famer with the Statlers, joining us this morning to remember Harold Reid, your dear friend and brother of the road. For how many years, Jimmy?
Well, I was with them for almost 21 years, and now it's been, almost 18 years this year since the Statler Brothers retired. So I actually known him personally for about 40 years now.
And then Lou was with them how long before you came along?
Lou was with them about 20 years, right around 20 years before I came along. But he wrote Flowers on the Wall. Of course, Harold wrote that song you just played, Bed of Roses. And I got a funny story about that. My mom, when I first went with the Statler Brothers, my mom was straight-laced Christian woman, and she met Harold, and she said, "There's only one thing I don't like about y'all's music." And he said, "What's that?" She said, "I don't like that Bed of Roses song. I don't like what it's about." And he laughed. He got the biggest kick out of that. He thought that was the funniest thing. He said, "Man, I don't know if I want to sing Bed of Roses anymore if your mama don't like it, But that's the way Harold was, man.
Yeah.
He was just awesome.
Consummate entertainer. To see the Statler Brothers live, he made the show. I mean, Don kind of drove the show, but the guy who brought it home was Harold, right?
When you watched the Statler Brothers, that was the person that you focused on, because young kids, all ages, when you tuned into our TV show or whether you came to a concert, you wanted to hear what in the world he was going to do next. You had no idea. I want to go to the show because I want to see what Harold's going to do. Or I want to see the show Saturday night because I want to see what Harold's going to do. I mean, that's what it was about. And
how much of that was rehearsed on the stage show? Did you guys sometimes not know what he was going to do?
A lot of times we did not know what he was going to do, but the rehearsed stuff was funny as all get out. But when he would go off the cuff, he was even funnier. So when you say he was funny when he was on TV, but when he was by himself or when he was with us on the bus, oh my gosh, it was stuff that would happen you would not believe. And he just had that gift.
Did you audition for who was in on your audition? All the members, meaning when I
Phil when I came over to I met Phil first. I got out of the car in Stanton, Virginia, and I got out of the car to come in and meet all of them. And I met Phil first, and then I went in and I met Harold in his office, and boy, that deep voice. I mean, he was very intimidating. I mean, just unbelievably intimidating, and I was scared to death anyway. And then I met Don. But we didn't actually get to I had laryngitis that day that I tried out. But then we actually went to Harold's house and sang around the piano. We sang Amazing Grace around the piano. That was the first thing we sang. And so I thought I went on back to work that day and thinking, well, I got something to tell my kids. I said, even if this doesn't work out, I sang around the piano with the Statler Brothers one day. And so I was going back with just thinking maybe I probably won't get the job, but hey, I at least got to sing with them, and that was pretty cool. So then eventually they called me like a week later to fly to Nashville to record, just to put down something to see what it sounded like. And so when I flew to Nashville, my first flight ever, and it was snowing and everything else. I mean, I was scared to death. Got out off the airplane. They drove me over to Young and Sound Studios. Pulled up there was a door there, and the guy says, "You're going to walk through that door, and the Statler Brothers and Jerry Kennedy and the band are going to be sitting there. You got a microphone, and they're going to tell you to sing. And when you walk through that door, you start singing into that microphone, and And that's what I did. I mean, you talk about nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. And so I was the last audition they had in Nashville. And long story short, after that, they told me, they said, we want you to do the job. You know, it was a temporary thing for about 6 months while Lou was going to be out. And I had no idea that Lou would eventually make the decision to not go back on the road because he didn't think he could do it. So he asked me, he said, after about 6 months, he said, you think you would mind being a full-time member of the Statler Brothers? And I said, I'd be an idiot to turn this down. What are you talking about? And so it turned into 20, almost 21 years.
And how old were you at this time, Jimmy?
I was 26 going on 12. Yeah, pretty much. But they made it so easy for me. Harold and Don and Phil, the ultimate professionals, you know, they knew my strengths and they knew my weaknesses, and they took up for my weaknesses and let me show my strengths. And that's what I think coming in to help them out was, if they'd have told me right off the bat, we want you to come in and take Lou DeWitt's place, I would have probably rethought the whole thing, because I just never thought to be one of those people that would come in to really take somebody else's place. You know, I wanted to be the person that helped. And so they let me do that. They let me be that person. And then, of course, Lou, was his decision not to come back. And so I think that was why the fans accepted it so much. But Harold Reid, right from the start, I mean, he was brilliant. He was just brilliant. Him and Don both, and Phil, they knew what they had to do, and they did what they had to do to keep things going. They wanted to, I'm sure, get a few more years out of this business, because they weren't ready to retire at the time. And so, thankfully, took an old boy from Virginia that I never had nothing, probably never would have had nothing if it wasn't for those guys.
And they took you all over the world, didn't they?
All over the world, to meet all of our heroes, to do things that you never ever dreamed of. And you talk about the Road Hog. I think about the Road Hog all the time, and the Cadillac, Lester Moran, and the Cadillac Cowboys. And I think some people would ask him from time to time, well, you know, where's the Road Hog at? He'd say, well, he's recovering from an autopsy.
We've actually got an encore segment from 2008, which was the year you guys went into the Hall of Fame, and the book came out, Random Memories.
Yes.
So we're going to share that in the next half hour of the show. In a couple of minutes we have left. Joe, you said one of the things that comes to mind for you when I say Statler Brothers was award show time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about this in the last interview that we had with you, Jimmy. And yeah, I mean, my memory from childhood, when I think of a CMA award show, the image in my mind is you guys as the Statler Brothers standing up there, and you're just regalia and just looking like, you know, country music royalty. And that is my memory. And I just am so sorry for your loss. I'm just sitting here listening to you talk about him, and I so relate, because I lost a friend in Somalia that's personality sounds so much like his, just bigger than life. And when they're gone from life, it's hard. I still cannot grapple that he's gone, because he was so full of life and so funny and just so, And
so
how long had he been ill? Is this something he had suffered with for a long time that you were aware of, but maybe fans weren't?
It's been a couple of years, and you know, we knew that he was sick. But Harold, you know, he wouldn't talk about it much. He would just kind of keep it to himself. He talked to Don more about it than he did anybody, I think. But we knew he was sick, and that he was dealing with it, but didn't know. And we knew it was bad. But he actually lasted longer than I think anybody thought he would, considering what he had. You know,
Jimmy Fortune. You were wonderful to take the time to call us. We got to go to the break here, and we'll be back with memories, an encore of the Statler Brothers.
Absolutely.
God bless you in this time, buddy.
Yeah. God bless you, too. Thank you all so much.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tinnell. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.